I'm going to start this show as a GPP bro. We're going to review the Week 17 DFS action on DraftKings and Underdog. We'll check out what happened in the Battle Royale streets. And then by the end of this show, I am going to morph into the Cash Game King. We'll also take a detour to look at some best ball sweats, a little Monday Night Football preview. But like a caterpillar going into its cocoon, I will emerge as a beautiful cash game butterfly. I should have really thought through this analogy before I just started winging it. But you get the point. By the end of the show, no more fucking GPPs. It's time to become the Cash Game King.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atrophic chokitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto match with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust down AP, cut 5 bullets to your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
All right, GMs. People already antsy about this game. Are the Lions players going to play tonight? If you look in the Underdog lobby, the market is assuming they're playing tonight. I was just looking, it's like 18.5 rush attempts for Jahmyr Gibbs, 14.35 fantasy points for Amon-Ra. They're getting priced like they are playing full 4 quarters there. So might be an opportunity if you think there is any risk in them not going balls to the wall. But it's always a little risky betting against Dan Campbell not going balls to the wall. That is going to be hard for him to do. He's not wired that way. And there you go. Purple Yosh, our resident Lions fans there, says, yeah, Dan said earlier in the week they're going to go all out no matter what, but we will see. Yeah, things can change quickly there because you can have your identity as a football team and as a coach, and then it's like your one key player or one of your key players gets a little banged up, and then everyone's kind of looking around like, well, what the fuck are we doing this for? So yeah, that should be interesting. I know lots of people have sweats tonight. Best Ball Mania leaderboard has a lot going in this game tonight. Lots of Kittle, lots of Lions stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. GM Steve, whichever one of you, GMs Jonathan, crutches, week 18 is all that matters. That's right, baby. The metamorphosis. What's up, Mathology? If I had 150 BBM entries, I would win too. You know what? I did have 150 BBM entries and I didn't win. So I don't know if that's true. We got everybody has some best ball sweats going. Josh is third in the Rottweiler. The H-hand dud cost me first. Yeah, super weird usage with H-hand yesterday. Yeah, when should I hit up Davis? When should I hit up Davis to settle our Carson Steele and Cam Akers bet? It's so funny. I set up a calendar notification reminder for the season-long bets, and all of them, I went, let's see, what did I do? I went 1 for 3. These are the embarrassing ones. So I had the $100 bet with Karain, Jalen Hyatt, my Jalen Hyatt versus his Darius Slayton, lost that one. So I owe Patty Millions $100. Then I did win the Davis one. That was from August 22nd on Best Ball Breakfast. I believe we were arguing in the chat, and I got it in $50 Cam Akers versus Carson Steele. But then I had forgotten about this one, although I think Settlement had reminded me about it. I bet Jack Devontae Walker versus Rashad Bateman for $100. I'm going to have to Venmo fucking Jack Settlement $100. Geez, that was a bad bet there. So 1 for 3 on my season-long bets here. What is up? Under parlay? Yeah, I'm interested in it. I've never bet an under in my life, so it would be fun to do that tonight. What's up, Matt? Let's see here. What is up? Clay, how are we doing? Diesel Legend is currently holding on to a small lead in the puppy, spending the day calculating my sweat. That's such a tough spot to be in today, right? Where it's like, do I go through and calculate every little thing, or do I just, not torture myself with it. But I think you got to do it. I think if you're in first place, if you're top 5, if you got a chance at a massive score, I think you embrace the sweat. What I will say is if you're outside looking in like me, I had my Chow Chow team that was looking really hot after Saturday night because I had the Joe Burrow T Higgins stack. And I was like, oh, this could be fun. And then my guys on Sunday did nothing. James Cook did nothing. AJ Brown didn't do enough. And then I just ejected from the sweat. I'm not going to stare at this. I am not going to torture myself. But if you got something cooking, I think you torture yourself with it. I think you dig in. I think you build up the spreadsheet. I think you get the conditional formatting going on. I think you do all of that jazz and enjoy it while you got it. Yep, Chess Liam has a cooker going on, although I think he's more holding, right? Like he needs nothing to happen because I don't think he has too many players left. And there's lots of teams with Lions and Niners stuff. All right. We have lots to cover here, and we're just going to do what we always do. We're going to start with the DFS sweats. I believe I bricked out yesterday on DraftKings. I did, let's see. Yeah, let me get this screen shared. I played the power sweep again and lost. Surprise, evergreen. Let's pull this up here. Let's get this here. Let me get the power sweep up. And let me get my overlays going here. Let's profesh this up a bit. Is it a Ducks kind of day? I also need to pour some coffee. I need to pour some coffee. I'll let you guys decide if it's a Ducks kind of day or not. And we will take a look. This is just how sick DFS is. It's like I'm pulling up this lineup. I had a Baker Mayfield team with Jonathan Taylor. It's like if you had a Baker Mayfield team with Jonathan Taylor on Underdog, you're probably sitting you're probably sitting in like the top 100 of the BR. But not on DraftKings where it's impossible to win. I mean, I did brick out on my other spots, so that certainly didn't help. But before I read off this team, let me get some coffee. It looks like people want the Ducks. So let's get some Ducks. Let's get some coffee. And then we can look at this lineup that was half right, but not enough right. All right, there's the Ducks. And let me get the coffee. I didn't make a second pot, so I think we got enough for like 1.5 hours today. There you go. We're gonna leave a little bit in the chamber here for a second pour. Yes, the duck that popped up in the Bucs game. I wrote about that today in the Fantasy Life newsletter. Did you guys see this? Let me. So there was the duck on the field that came out here. Let me see. There he is. Little duck, and then he wouldn't come off the field. There was like one of the guys from the Lions crew that was trying to like shepherd it off the field, couldn't get him off. And then this dude came out of nowhere. This Duck Dynasty looking motherfucker came out here, the Duck Whisperer, and rescued him. Look at that. I love the Week 17 armband. Can I get one of those? Wear it throughout the summer while we're drafting best ball teams. Week 17, bro. My saddest piece of Week 17 paraphernalia is on my bike that I got in to do cardio club drafts, and I printed out the little Week 17 playoff metrics schedule for Week 15, 16, 17, and it's still on there. I haven't taken it off. I don't think I'll ever take it off. I'll just put the new 2025 season over it, and I'll just leave that up as a memorial to the 2024 season. I know I should have done a good duck joke on Twitter. Yeah, the Ducks scored almost as much as McLaurin. I should have done, that duck did a better job staying on the field than the Panthers offense. Whatever. I'll work on it. Okay, here's this team. This was my first team. I was all over the Bucs, like a lot of people. You can see here by the ownership. I ended up doing basically kind of like splitting my lineups, where I had a Mike Evans team, I had a Vaki team, and then I had a Baker with the cheap guys team. Obviously, middling that ended up being very bad. You needed the onslaught with the entire Bucs team. So this lineup had Baker Mayfield. He came in at 22%. Jalen McMillian at 21%. Payne Durham at 17%. Did not have a bring back on here. The second week in a row, me not forcing a bring back has cost me. Didn't have DK Metcalf on my really good, didn't have Justin Jefferson on my really good Geno Smith double stack last week. And then this week I don't have Adam Thielen on here. So that's sick, stinks. I did have Jonathan Taylor. He was at 30%, drops a 30 ball. And then all of my kind of tournament pivots did not hit. Played James Cook at 5%, mentioned him on the cram. I really liked the kind of ceiling ownership combination we were getting there. I liked Devontae Adams there. Did not realize that the Jets were going to collapse in just hilarious fashion. Really liked Calvin Ridley. He scores 14 points, but never gets loose for a really big play. And then Tajay Spears. I wanted to play him as well, especially if I didn't have Vaki. He only scores 13.3 points, leaves the game for a little bit, I believe, banged up. And then Browns defense, who was chalked down here. So yeah, not a good lineup. Kind of pissed at myself for middling the Bucs stack and not ripping it in as an onslaught. We can see what won the contest here was actually a Joe Flacco that took it down. Interesting. So Mr. Good Seats, definitely recognize that name. Joe Flacco, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, then had a Bucky Irving, Adam Thielen mini correlation, had Malik Nabers on the bring back to the Flacco stuff, and then a Chig, Brian Thomas Jr. mini correlation, Eagles defense. This is a really nice lineup, heavily correlated, right? Just 3 different game environments here. Indy with a bring back, Carolina, Tampa mini, and then Tennessee and Jacksonville mini. Just a really strong, logical lineup. Get Eagles defense in there. Really nice team. And obviously Nabers and Thielen, as we'll see on Underdog, were just pieces you had to have. When you get the 31 ball from Thielen, almost 40 points from Nabers, obviously they're getting the 100-yard bonuses here on DraftKings. But yeah, just monster scores from those guys. And then the other big story from yesterday was just Josh Downs' disappearing act. He projected extremely well. I think the entire, fantasy football market was very excited about this spot for Josh Downs. I drafted a ton of him. As you'll see in my other lineups, I played him, but ended up being a Michael Pittman day, ended up being an Alec Pierce day. And yeah, playing the non-Josh Downs pieces of the Colts stack certainly worked out well. GM Star, I called Pittman. Well, yeah, the problem is my 2 Pittman lineups also had Downs in it. So I'll show you these other ones here. So I did run a Joe Flacco double stack. The as we were kind of messing around with the Sims yesterday on the solver, the Flacco doubles were popping an outrageous amount to where I didn't want to fade that. And what was actually popping the most, and this was a simmed lineup, was Flacco, Downs, Pittman, and including Taylor. And I had run it a few different ways looking at those, and it really liked including Taylor. So minus the down spot, this lineup was looking decent. Here, I'll read you the full lineup. Flacco, 11%, JT, 30%, Josh Downs, 39%, Pittman, 10%. No bring back here. Again, fatal flaw. The 2 weeks I stopped doing bringbacks, I guess I haven't been forcing bringbacks for most of the year, but tilting that we finally get back-to-back, just smash bringback weeks. Rico Dowdle played at 1.8%. Mike Evans, here was my one-off Mike Evans at 36%. Jake Ferguson at tight end here, and then Josh Jacobs in the flex, and Browns defense. So again, like a decently strong lineup, knowing how much the Colts and Evans stuff was going to be chalk. The Sims really wanted you to get in some contrarian pieces. Ended up being Rico Dowdle for me here, who I liked a good bit, but 13.8 points, not going to cut it. Also had Jake Ferguson as kind of a pivot at tight end. I mentioned really liking him on the cram, just a target, path to targets with CeeDee Lamb out. And then Josh Jacobs. I wasn't even watching that game. I was out with April in the afternoon, but I think I saw some messages that he was getting yanked around and they were using Emmanuel Wilson at the goal line. Maybe you guys in the chat can let me know what happened there with Josh Jacobs. On some of the right stuff, but just not getting the pieces together there. Why does Cliff hate rookies, Pete? Because he's got fucking Zach Ertz, man. Who needs rookies when you got Olamide, Zacchaeus, and Zach Ertz? It is crazy watching all of those Zacchaeus catches last night, and you're like, there is a reality where that's Luke McCaffrey. We got Big Sunny here with the super chat. Took 6th in the hurry up, thanks to the Gems video. I love it. What was? I'm trying to remember which of my gems were good. Bryce Young. Did it get you to like Bryce Young and Adam Thielen? Yeah, because I had Rico. Who else did I have? Yeah, I had Ridley. My gems weren't that good this week. It was, to be fair, it was a really hard week for gems, but I'm happy to hear if I was able to help. Oops, my bad. I muted myself for a second. Thank you. We're back. What was I going to say? I said Mike Evans is for sure going to get to 1,000 yards. He needs 85 more yards. I pulled that up. But I am back. Thank you, guys. Sorry, muted myself for a second and then forgot to press it back. So yeah, this lineup doesn't get there. And then the final lineup I wanted to run in Jordan Love. That was a game environment that I was interested in. The field was clearly interested in it as well. I'm glad that I did not watch that game because it seemed like it was massively frustrating. It was interesting when I was looking at the best Jordan Love lineups, the Colt stuff projected so well that it liked the secondary stack of including Downs and Pittman. So this full roster ended up being a Jordan Love double stack with Romeo Doubs at 10%, Wicks at 28%. This did jam in Barkley and Irving. It was hard to get off of that pairing in the Sims. And if you had more of a contrarian stack, it was certainly happy to jam Barkley and Irving there. I mentioned this team still had the Josh Downs, Michael Pittman double. I wanted one Brock Bowers team. So I was looking and trying to find the best version of a Brock Bowers team. And this one fit the bill. He was at 15.3%. And then Dolphins defense, we talked about that on the cram, was a pretty awesome spot there for the Dolphins defense at fairly low ownership. But again, not getting the main stack to go off. This one has Pittman on it, but Bowers doesn't go nuke, and the stack doesn't go nuke, so no money for me. Yeah, I will say, like, before, it is a hard time of the year. I think the combination of best ball stuff, I do think, people who play DFS, and sorry, I'm reading a comment here on screen. Ball is Life says, I won negative money this year. I cannot wait to lose even more next year. I think it is a good time to mention, like, protecting your mentals with this sport. It can be very draining. If you play a lot of DFS, you get used to it, right? You understand it's a single slate. You understand how the variance works. I think it's been a little harder for the season-long people who only play best ball, who, think of it as more than just one slate because it spans so much time and it feels so much more important than just a single random slate. But yeah, I think it's good to shout out, take care of yourself right now. I'm personally really looking forward to a break. I've had a ton of fun drafting this week or this year. Even as someone who on the year, I'm going to have a good year because of a few really solid BR weeks. I've been on like an 8-week losing streak, having not won 7 or 8 weeks of, minus 50 to 75% ROI every week. And it wears on you. It does wear on you. And then if you don't have that big win to fall back on, it's even more demoralizing. So it's okay to take a break. It's okay to chill out a little bit. Don't chill out until after cash game week, of course. But did just want to mention that because I've seen a lot of people pretty down on themselves, down on how things shook out, even getting to the finals, right? You see these teams make it to the finals of these contests, and then you fall short, and it's like, fuck. But I always also think, like, what do we always tell ourselves? And I see the comments, everyone says, I just want that one sweat. Just want that one sweat. Well, if you get that sweat, it's nice. Actually enjoy that. You got the sweat that you want, even if it comes up empty-handed. That's kind of how I feel with my Chow Chow team. Was just happy to have the sweat, happy to have the excitement on Saturday night of the T. Higgins, Joe Burrow connection. And then it all evaporated, and that's okay. But yes, a good shout out here. Take care of yourself, protect yourself, and enjoy this stuff so it doesn't mess you up too much. All right. Let's look at the Deposit Kingdom contest. Let's see who took that down. I believe it was our guy, irblack, with the splash play avatar. Let me pull this up and see if I can confirm. Yes, it was irblack. Wow, look at this. Littering the top of the leaderboard, a first and a third place finish here. Dominant performance from irblack. Had the Baker Mayfield with Bucky Irving, Jalen McMillions, and then Adam Thielen bring back. Had the Jonathan Taylor, Malik Nabers mini correlation. Had Jake Ferguson, and then Amir Abdullah at 5,100, 2.4% with the Raiders defense. Just a really, really sharp lineup. Love this team here. Was able to get first even with the Jake Ferguson snowflake. But just a really nicely correlated lineup. A little game stack with a bring back, a mini correlation, a running back with the DST, and a one-off tight end. Very nice there, irblack. Pretty sick. Let's see the third place lineup here real quick too. The exact same lineup, but with BTJ instead of Malik Nabers. That is wild. See, I'm such like, when I roll out 3 lineups, I kind of like them being different. Like, it's like one of these or 2 of these is going to massively fail, but maybe then one of them will hit. I generally don't love running like a lineup that's near identical. But the Stones on irblack to just run it back with a BTJ for Malik Nabers swap there. Really sick stuff. Brian Thomas Jr. at 6,800 and then Malik Nabers at 6,600. That was sick. There's Ivan in the chat. Congrats, dude. Awesome lineups there. Love seeing you have a massive day in here. 1,200 for first, 800 for second, turning $30 into 2K. Ain't too bad there. DPC takes second place here. Had the Baker, Bucky, Evans, McMillions with the Adam Thielen bring back. Had the Jonathan Taylor, the Chig, and then Dontavian Wicks in the flex. Dolphins defense there. Did anyone win up here without Baker Mayfield? That's the question. It was all Baker Mayfield yesterday. We saw that lineup that won the power sweep. That was Joe Flacco. But in this smaller field, it was all Baker Mayfield at the top here. I know it's funny. We've seen this, Benny says kind of crazy. Didn't have Durham there at tight end to lap the field even more. There is some element of, the onslaughts get uncomfortable, right? Because you start adding players to it and you're like, holy shit, can I really have 5 or 6 guys from this team? Is there an actual ceiling there? But man, we've seen it happen a few times this year. The Bucs, the Lions have had some of those games. And the thing, I do agree that it was a leak to probably not have I had Payne Durham on my one team where it's just like, he's so cheap and you're making such a big bet already on Baker Mayfield. Just toss Payne Durham in there, coming off a 7-target game. But yeah, I mean, I had plenty of Baker teams on Underdog that didn't include Payne Durham. So I get it. But yeah, in hindsight, Payne Durham was a pretty easy play to tack on to Mayfield stacks. Brandon here said he took 5th this week. My best DK win ever. Thanks for everything this season. Awesome to hear. Let me see your team here. Is this you? GT Buzz? Let me know. Let me confirm this is you. Or were you talking 5th in a different contest? Brandon, if so, had the Baker to Evans McMillan, had a BTJ and Tajay Spears correlation, had a one-off. Jonathan Taylor, of course, had Adam Thielen as the bringback. Jordan Akins at tight end. That was a pretty sick play too. But again, like punt tight end going with Akins instead of Durham, although maybe you didn't have the money for Durham there. So that definitely makes sense. If not, had it correlated a little bit with the Browns defense. Congratulations, Brandon. Nice team. Glad to hear that you had a nice week. Yeah, Ferguson was popping well. ETR had a good projection on him. When I looked at it on the cram and we were looking, I was like, man, for his projection versus ownership, I thought he looked like one of the best tight end plays on the slate. Unfortunately, the Cowboys imploded and let us all down. We got Daniel here said, finally joined the Deposit Kingdom League and came in 2nd. Okay, this is you. Incredible. Look at this. This guy just rolls in to the Deposit Kingdom party in week 17 and just gets 2nd place right off the rip. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not in the red zone contest, but our guy Shortyvegaspicks from the Discord, from the hand builders, I believe he finished, I want to pull this up. Yeah, he finished 3rd in the red zone. I actually have a screenshot of his lineup. I need to show you guys this. I need to show you this team that our guy Shorty won with. And for those of you guys who don't know Shortyvegaspicks, he's our kind of resident galaxy brainer. Like, he's always pretty far off the board with his favorite plays, the stacks he wants to run. And they always have merit. Like, they're never like, just punting away money, but they're always like, whoa, brother, that's far out there. Well, he finally got home with one of these lineups yesterday. Look at this team from our guy Shorty. A Drew Lock. This man was sick enough to run Drew Lock at 0.29%. Drew Lock drops 37.36 points. He has it to Nabers and Wan'Dale Robinson, along with Daniel Bellinger. This guy ran out a Drew Lock triple stack and brought it back with Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. Unbelievable stuff. You can't see it fully down here. It's Eagles defense. Also had Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, and man, I think he was really, really close to an even bigger day. You can see in the leaderboard here, not getting that, other Josh Jacobs touchdown probably cost him 2nd there. But holy cow, this wins for lineup of the year. If you're rolling out a Drew Lock double stack, or triple stack, you win. You win all the Skolanskis, you win the real money, you win the accolades, you win the praise. Unbelievable. New dad rolling out a Drew Lock triple stack. He also, so Shorty, for people who are wondering where we're talking about hanging out, this is in the Hand Builder and Optobros channel. That's the DFS premium channel. If you become a YouTube member here at the highest level, it gets you access to the crams on Sunday morning, gives you access to After Dark on Saturday night, and also this Discord. Shorty recently became a new dad, girl dad, and then also had some insane pick'em hits over the week as well. So Shorty is on a new dad heater. Very much appreciate having him in the Discord. Yeah, I've heard about this too. The guy winning the DK Best Ball Millie has Drew Lock. That's some sick stuff. That's some really sick stuff. But I will say, we did have a lot of conversations, again, from a best ball perspective, about a benching risk for Daniel Jones at the end of the year, because I really like Daniel Jones as a pick for how cheap he was in best ball contests, but it was a little tricky knowing that his week 17 status was legitimately up in the air the way the injury clause in his contract worked. It was really hard to pull a Drew Lock, click on Underdog with the 18 roster spots, but I think it definitely makes sense on DraftKings getting to a Drew Lock, pick in the 20th round. If you were drafting like Nabers and Tyrone Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson and then needed a quarterback, I don't think it was the worst play in the world as your third or fourth quarterback. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, the Zach Ertz team knocked the lock team out of first. What an incredible, obviously we're not getting to it because it wasn't on the main slate, but what a fucking game from Zach Ertz, man. What did he put up? 6 for 72 and 2 touchdowns. And he also had that big yards after the catch play there. I think he had like a 34-yard gain. I was like, who is that in the open field? It was Zach Ertz. Incredible stuff. I mean, I'll be honest too. Like, one of the things that's really interesting, we talk about in best ball, the rookies peaking late, right? And that certainly happened to a big extent. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., if you want to have an MVP for the fantasy playoffs, it was Brian Thomas Jr. You see all of these rookies really stepping into big roles. We saw Xavier Worthy step up down the stretch. We saw Jalen McMillian step up down the stretch. Like, the rookie thesis, very much still intact, very much an angle you want to exploit in these best ball drafts. But part of the reason I didn't want to draft guys like Adam Thielen and Zach Ertz is because I would think they would fade by the end of the season, that they weren't capable of dropping 20 plus points, 30 plus points in the fantasy playoffs. And boy, did I get that wrong. I did not realize that Adam Thielen had that in his bag. If you combined the 2 seasons, Adam Thielen's first part of last year with the last part of this year, dude probably looks like fucking Randy Moss. I mean, just insane stuff there. Normally those vets tend to fade, but Zach Ertz didn't go anywhere. Adam Thielen finished the season really strong with Bryce Young. But yeah, impressive stuff from those veterans. Those were guys I was not going to have big shares of in my portfolio, and they certainly paid off their draft cost in week 17. Is this the username that's in first right now, Cunnilingus, for the DK? I think I saw a screenshot of that. Yeah, the Cunnilingus, the greatest handle. That's incredible. Yeah, Ben Sinnott, that did not work out. You could tell yourself, I do think it's important on the other hand to not, overreact to some of the outcome-based stuff with that. Like, I saw there was a conversation in the Ship Chasing Discord the other day about Will Shipley and whether that was like a bad pick and blah, 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 and how thin it was. And it's like, no one's saying that about Isaac Guerrero, right? Like, Isaac Guerrero and Will Shipley, comparable positions on the draft, on the depth chart, comparable draft capital, like a thin path. But the thesis is, what if this pretty talented rookie on a really good offensive team gets a crack? What if? Well, then it could probably lead to a lot of fantasy points. That did not play out for Will Shipley. He happened to be behind a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards. It did play out for Isaac Guerrero. And if it had not been for getting dinged up there in the middle of the fantasy playoffs, Isaac Guerrero could have ended up being one of the biggest, advance rate pieces in the fantasy playoffs. So I think it's important not to kind of overfit how we think about those players, because there are scenarios where Zach Ertz does get hurt and Ben Sinnott is producing like Payne Durham did yesterday, and stuff like that. And I think over time, if you do shade your bets toward the younger players, towards the talented guys, toward, the players on really good teams that if they get a chance, there's actually an offensive environment for them to take advantage. I still think that's how we want to be playing the game. All right, I need to pour a little bit more coffee here, and then we'll head over to Underdog. Racif, can you get Underdog to make a 50-50 draft contest for the week? Way ahead of you, brother. Way ahead of you. Do not worry. Do not worry about that. The Cash Game King has got it under control. Do I see our guy, Carlton, in here? Here he is. Here's our dude, Chris Carlton. Let's talk about Chris real quick. I know we said we were going to head to Underdog first, but now that Chris is in the chat, let's head over to bbmdb.com. Let's talk about Chris Carlton, who may or may not have a little team in the best ball finals here that's currently in 6th place. This is our hero, C. Carlton, 6th place. I believe, Chris, did we meet at, was it the New York Underdog Cardio Club event a couple years back? I know your avatar is the Underdog Cardio Club shirt there. But let's show up this team here. It's currently sitting in 6th place and still has Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and George Kittle to go tonight. Ended up getting a 23 ball from Derrick Henry, 11.8 from Spears, 21 from Vaki. Had the 14 from Drake London last night. Had the 34 from T. Higgins, the 20 from Jalen McMillan, and then here it is, the 22 ball from Zach Ertz. So many ways that he can improve on this score. Obviously, George Kittle can hit the flex over Drake London. Amon-Ra, can hit the flex over, or I guess it's over Tajay Spears, right? Because right now, Tajay Spears is in the flex. So lots of fun ways for Carlton's team here to improve. Saw you up there, man. Very much will be rooting for you and hope that you get home. You can see here Chess Liam in 10th place, but I believe no more guys to go. So he is just praying for a Cincinnati Bills, Buffalo Bills-esque, or Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills-esque cancellation there. But Chris, man, incredible stuff. Okay, I mixed you up with someone else with the Underdog Cardio Club shirt, but incredible stuff, dude. What how are you sweating the game tonight? Let us know. Get inside the mind of someone with a $1.5 million sweat. What does that look like? Yes, everyone is. If Chris can't win here, I do think that we all root for fast farts. So Josh Norris has to interview fast farts. I do think it would be very 2024 for a user named Cunnilingus and Fast Farts to ship the 2 flagship best ball tournaments. Rip a mitten, Pete? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I still have not drafted a single playoff best ball team. And I am reviewing week 17 action. We are looking at some best ball sweats. And then I'm going to turn into a cash game king. I will absolutely not be ripping a mitten right now. Chris is going to be at a Chicago dive bar mainlining beer. Love that, dude. Love it. All right. We're going to bounce around a little bit. Let's head over to the battle royales. This was a slate I initially was not excited about whatsoever. I think like a lot of people, I did start to warm up to it. Where's my underdog? I did start to warm up to it as the week progressed. Did not have a good week. Maxed the battle royale here. Got about a third of my money back. Had one team that finished top 100. This team was in 95th. Was a Baker Mayfield. It was very close to being good. Baker Mayfield with Bucky Irving and Jalen McMillan. Had the Jonathan Taylor, Malik Nabers mini correlation, but then took the dud at tight end. So that dud really hurt. If you have a usable tight end there, you finish top 25. But that's how it goes. The team that finished in first here had Baker Mayfield to Mike Evans. Actually, no Adam Thielen. For a while, I thought you were going to have Adam Thielen to win, but the combination of Devontae Smith ending up with that monster score meant you didn't have to have him. So Baker, Evans, Jonathan Taylor at running back, Nabers, Devontae Smith, and TJ Hawkinson. You did really need the JT, Malik Nabers mini correlation there, but gets home with Devontae Smith one off and TJ Hawkinson. And it was really close up top here on the leaderboard all day. Here's the other version up here at the top, which had the same core of Baker, JT, Evans, Nabers, but this one had Thielen instead of Devontae Smith and had Jonnu Smith instead of TJ Hawkinson. So lots of different versions of this team here at the top. There was a couple of these teams in third that were duped with this same team. Yeah, I don't recognize too many names up here. If you were in the chat and had a nice finish in the BR, let me know. My exposures did not break my way yesterday. You can see my exposures here. Huge whiffs at wide receiver and running back. Calvin Ridley, Josh Downs, my two highest, followed by Spears and Breece Hall. None of those guys put up usable scores. Then you get to, Brian Thomas, Hawkinson, Barkley, Bowers, who are all fine, but you couldn't win a tournament with them really. And then it was down here, decent amount of Bucky, 20%, decent amount of Evans, 20%. But yeah, I was not on enough of the Bucs onslaughts, and I did not have as much Nabers as I would have liked. Only 12% Nabers there and 5.6% Thielen, which is unfortunate. I was on Bryce Young. He was my gem in the video. You can see here he ended up being my second most drafted quarterback, but I mainly ran him naked. Mainly did Bryce Young with Evans, with Bucky, playing him as someone who's going to run a little bit and spread the ball around. But it probably wouldn't have mattered because even Bryce Young's score wasn't enough to compete with Baker. I mean, how much did Bryce Young even end up putting up here? Can I find a Bryce Young team here? Geez, I had a lot of Flacco. Why can't I find a Bryce Young team? All right, you guys just get to sit here and watch me click through a bunch of bad teams. You know what? What am I doing? Let's just search like a normal person. All right, 16.92. Yeah, so not cutting it enough here. Lots of teams that look like this. Bryce Young, this was just a completely naked Bryce Young team. Had Malik Nabers, JT, Mini, James Cook. Why am I even looking at these teams? Had two teams that cashed in the fullback dive, but nothing to write home about. Had a Baker, Evans, McMillion, did roll out that double stack in the dive. Had JT, but then Breece Hall and Dalton Kincaid, that mini correlation sunk me. Had a Baker, Evans, skinny stack in here as well. This one had Rico at running back, Brian Thomas, Calvin Ridley, that mini correlation I wanted to get in there. That didn't hit. And then Jonnu at tight end. So not a lot to write home for me there. I did play the QB sneak, drafted that one on stream. Thought it was going to be a good start to the day. Did have the Bryce Young, Mike Evans there, but man, Achane and Breece Hall flop. AJ Brown flops, Jake Ferguson flops. That's a $250 donation to the ecosystem. Let's check out the Deposit Kingdom contest here in a second. Now, this is a nice question. Did April have a nice Christmas? She did. She had an awesome Christmas. I will say our plans got kind of blown up. We had a fun time just as a family, but we were supposed to go over to my in-laws and with all of our relatives, and all of them got sick. And so my in-laws couldn't host. So we just did our own thing, the three of us on Christmas. Went for a nice walk, opened presents. We went out for Chinese food because our dinner plans got blown up. Yeah, April was good at the restaurant and had a blast opening up all of her presents. But we're going to do a rain check with the in-laws on Wednesday. Yeah, is that New Year's Day? Yeah, we're going to go over there and do a Christmas rain check. So that'll be fun on Wednesday. But yeah, April had a great time. She has way too many toys. I got her, I kind of built her like a little gym setup in our basement. I got her a mini trampoline. I got her one of those ball pits, a little like gymnastics ramp. So she runs up the ramp and jumps in to the ball pit. So yeah, she's loving life and doing good. I appreciate you asking. Ball is life. Yeah, Chinese, we had to do it. I was having a great time. I was pounding Mai Tais there at the Chinese restaurant. It was wonderful. All right, checking back in on some of these sweats here. Going to be a tough sweat tonight. So much of the field has ARSB, and a good game from Gibbs will swing things a ton. Yes, it certainly will. I feel like there's a really wide range of outcomes for the game tonight as far as if the Lions go pedal to the metal for 4 quarters. I think we could definitely get like a back and forth affair with a ton of points. I could also see it, being a low key, the Niner or the Lions being like, you know what, we actually don't need to go balls to the wall. Let's give Sione Vaki a few carries and get out of here. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to look at the Deposit Kingdom contest. Not so narrow cast finished 44. Let's see who got first here. EGFOutlaws or EGFOutlaws, EGFOutlaws. There it goes. If I read it 3 times, I can figure out what we were going for. I'm guessing it's EGFOutlaws. I was like, Dan Fouts? What? Baker Mayfield to Jalen McMillan. No Adam Thielen, does have the Jonathan Taylor, Malik Nabers mini correlation, and then the Brian Thomas Chigakonkwo mini correlation there. Really nice team. Definitely a week where you could get away with some not having the nuts in small field. All of these players getting drafted a good chunk of the time, so didn't have to get like the Adam Thielen scroll or the Devontae Smith scroll in the Deposit Kingdom contest. Opt out, who I believe has just been autoing everything these days. I don't know if they're actually a member of our community or if they're just an auto draft merchant, but they finished in second place with a Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, Adam Thielen. I am curious if this team was auto drafted because it's like a classic stack. Maybe I got to give them some credit there, because if you're ending up on Adam Thielen, his ADP settled at 28.5. Interesting. Yeah, so this team could have definitely been auto drafted even with the game stack. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And Jonnu Smith at tight end, nice lineup there. PHB here, shortening the username so I don't have to try to pronounce it. Baker Mayfield to Evans. Again, the JT and Malik Nabers. If we've discovered anything from reviewing lineups, it's that you absolutely had to have the Jonathan Taylor, Malik Nabers mini correlation to have a chance at a solid score. James Cook letting you down here, but Payne Durham, solid score there, 10.6 at tight end. Oh, there's my guy, Andy 8052 from IKB. Let's see, this team here had a Baker Naked. Oh, no, not Naked Maker. Baker and Bucky with the Adam Thielen bring back. Had Malik Nabers, Calvin Ridley, Brock Bowers. Nice team there from Andy. I swear to God, this is another Steven. Is this a new Steven? These Stevens, they come out of the woodwork. Have you been here before, Steven? There are so many Stevens. He says, I enjoyed my first year on Underdog and will be watching your channels in 2025. I appreciate it. No. It's me. I can't keep track. It's enough already. I absolutely can't keep track of all the different Stevens in the different. I am old Steven. You have like 13 different usernames. I'm the one you wrote about. Yes. Okay. Steven would say that. I know. I'm being gaslit by the Stevens in my community. Let's see here. Some people tagged me for the Wildcat. I think I got tagged registered flex offender. Does it count as a tag here? I think I got tagged with a lot of people. Does this count, guys? Do I get to claim So rather be fishing registered flex offender here. Do I get tout credit if I'm tagged with this list of names? Peter, I was the first one to get tagged, though. I need the chat to rule. Do I get tout credit for this Wildcat win? Yeah, tagged first. Let me read the list. Peter Overzet, Pat Crane, Davis Maddock, coming in third, Davis. Nice. David Kitchen, BR Thought Leader, David Kitchen. Mr. Tuttle 05, Josh Norris, Hayden Winks, Lord Reeves. Yards per Gretch, Sam Sherman, Chess Liam, Daigle, Jay Larkey tweets, Nate Noling. Nate Noling's getting a shout out. Sammy Reed, Two Hats, One Mic, Adam Levitan, Neil Orfield, Nez, Roto Run, and Jacob Sanderson. Look at that. Nate Noling getting tagged in a BR tweet. It is Cash Game Week. I do think that's fitting on Cash Game Week. Congratulations, though, registered flex offender. Their very nice team had the Baker, Evans, and Adam Thielen bring back the JT Nabers, and then Chigakonkwo at tight end there. And then I think someone in the Discord, was it Silly Bickles? Silly Bickles got duped there for second in the Wildcat. This is one of those wild dupe situations where it's a score dupe, but not the same players. So it was a 2v2, I believe. Is it Brock Bowers and Adam Thielen versus, no, not Adam Thielen. It was Payne Durham and Vaki to Brock Bowers and what was the second one? Jalen McMillion, I believe. So yeah, really interesting 2v2 there, where they scored the same amount of points, 150.86, but with different players. So congratulations to everyone who finished at the top of the Wildcat. Tuttle getting a tag, silence paying off. Yeah, it's going to be a big sweat tonight. I'm guessing our guy Chris Carlton will give the shout out to the Swolecast if he can take it down. But yeah, man, it would be a shame if the Swolecast hot streak of getting shouted out came to an end tonight. Will I be joining the Guildcast this week? Of fucking course. Of course. There's a few hallmarks, a few staples of Cash Game Week. Those include accepting all of your head-to-heads on DraftKings. It includes going on the Guildcast. It includes not playing a single DFS tournament, exclusively playing cash games and double ups. It includes sending out the no regrets tweet after lineup locks. But yes, of course I will be going on the Guildcast. See, I knew it. Chris Carlton, I've been a Swolecast listener for years. We all owe David Kitchen for whatever success we have. All right. I don't think, is there anything else to look at here in the BR streets? I bricked the bomb as well. Holy cow. Look at me on the bomb. I didn't even have one team in the 50th percentile. Oof. Maybe it's because I rolled out a Mason Rudolph team. Maybe it's because I played an AOC double. I thought Jacoby was going to end up having a bigger game than he did. He was cooking there early. He had that touchdown. I was like, oh, I think he's on his way to 20. Way too much Josh Downs for me yesterday. Way too much Josh Downs. Oof. All right. Let me show you guys let me show you my Chow Chow team. Disappointing how this thing ran out, because I thought I was gonna have a fun sweat there for a little while, and then it was not meant to be. So I am currently in 12th place in the Chow Chow, or 13th, I should say. We do have multiple people from the Deposit Kingdom and Ship Chasing communities up here. Shout out to Jonathan, who has 2 top 10 teams right now, has a team here in 3rd, and then Shit Yeah, the Achievers is sitting there in 4th. Let's take a look real quick at their teams. Jonathan had the Baker and then the JT and Chase Brown at running back, had McMillian, Brian Thomas, Michael Pittman, and Evans. Wow, I have not seen Michael Pittman on too many teams. That's awesome to have there. And then Brock Bowers at tight end. And then tonight has Amon-Ra going, and I believe that's it. Goff and Amon-Ra, although it's going to be really hard for Goff to hit any lineups, but Amon-Ra, yeah, what are you going to need? Wow, Amon-Ra to go for more than 20.4. And then the Achievers had Jaden Daniels last night, had Bucky and Chase Brown. Look at this true zero RB team here. Has Judy hitting the lineup, Xavier Worthy, Devontae Smith, Malik Nabers. Wow, I did not think there were going to be many Malik Nabers teams in the finals. That's awesome. And man, only 7.5 there at tight end. And so what? You're looking for this game to dud out tonight, right? Yeah, nothing going tonight with San Francisco and Detroit. Here's my team. Pretty disappointing, honestly, to get on Sunday night, the Joe Burrow to T. Higgins, and that goes nuts. And then I said, I knew heading into Sunday, I was like, it's going to come down to A.J. Brown, Drake London, and James Cook. Like, those were my important pieces. Only got an 11 from Chase Brown. All my other running backs were not looking good. Zach Charbonnet dudded on Thursday night. So it's going to come down to James Cook. He only puts up 11.3. And then I really needed one kind of like 20-point game from Drake London or A.J. Brown. Neither of them get there. Drake London, 14.1. Was kind of hoping for OT in that game. A.J. Brown got sat in the cuck chair by Devontae Smith. It's like, man, if A.J. Brown can just have that game that Devontae Smith had, maybe. And then I did have the score from Mike Gesicki. I have a small sliver of hope tonight because I have Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, and Tim Patrick. So I could move up the leaderboard a little bit. I can get my flex and my wide receiver to start scoring after 10.2. So I might have some room to run if one of these guys could put up 20 points, but pretty capped out as far as what I can do here in this tournament. Maybe jumping up into the top 10, but I'm not going to be sweating it too hard here. But can't complain. Didn't have the best ball year as far as only getting one team to the finals. So to have a team up here near the top, and I joked about the Chow Chow being the flagship contest, but it literally was my favorite contest on Underdog. I think it was over the summer when I was asking, Hope and Doobie, what are we going to get the Chow Chow? Can we get a $3 or $100 3 max? Can we get some more of these $50 15 max contests? Really loved the structure of this one, having 2 advance through the playoffs, having a really small final with only, 55 teams here, I believe, 58 teams. So yeah, really like this contest and love seeing some Deposit Kingdom and Ship Chasers up here at the top. Yes, lots of people in the chows there. Eli was in the chow as well. Jonathan loved the structure there. Paul got 6th in the goal line stand. I didn't do a single goal line stand last week, so I unfortunately don't have that in my tab here. Just did not have time to get to the 12-person drafts, but congratulations, Paul. Dr. Evil had a Chow Chow team. I love this. Chow Chow is just friends and family. Now we're talking. What is 50-50 games? Well, Bull in a China shop. Imagine a world where 50% of the prize pool didn't just go to the people who finish in the top 10. Imagine a world where not 90% of the field walks away disappointed. Imagine a world where you enter the ring with hundreds of other people and half of those people walk out happy. Imagine a world where 50% of the player pool doubles their money. Imagine that world, Bull in a China shop, because that's what a 50-50 game is. No more of these top-heavy contests. This is where you go in, and as long as you finish in the top 50 percentile of the contest, you make money. You don't need to beat 1,000 people in a 50-50 double up contest. You only need to beat 500 of them. And that is a beautiful thing when it's cash game week. All right, what do we got next? Let's check on Guillotine. I have not looked at our Deposit Kingdom Guillotine League yet. I'm going to see if we have a sweat tonight or if it is over for our participants. It was over for me a long time ago. We have Dan and Michael here battling it out, and it looks like our guy Dan is running away with this. And for those of you who forgot, Dan drafted this team from a gas station. I don't think I'm kidding about that. I need to pull up this video right now. If I search Guillotine Overzet, can I find this video? Here it is. Yes. Dan came on. Where was Dan on this draft here? If I pull through here, can I find Dan? This is Dan right here. This is Dan at the bottom of the screen drafting this Guillotine team from an Illinois gas station. There he is. It was because what I did is I invited people into the Deposit Kingdom. It's a free roll contest. I was going to put up a prize, which I need to remember how much I said I was giving people. And Dan, had to chase the EV of a free roll contest and drafted it from a gas station. John Warner is always talking about location EV for drafting. I think we've established it. Illinois gas stations, incredibly plus EV for drafting Guillotine leagues. Look at this team here in the finals. Had Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Achane McBride, starting Jameson Williams there. Dan, you sure you don't want to put in Juwan Jennings here? Probably put in Juwan Jennings. Play it a little safe, brother. Don't open up yourself up to the variance of Jameson Williams tonight. Just take your 4.5 catches from Juwan Jennings and move on. Our guy Michael here, who had a very nice team, does have Debo and Kittle going tonight, but he would need them to score approximately 40 points each, probably 45 points each. So we're going to go ahead and call this a victory for Dan. Okay, that is what we got for the Guillotine stuff. I should mention playoff Guillotine leagues are here as well. Let me go to the contest lobby. There's self-contained ones that you can play with a group of friends. And then there's the championship. I haven't decided if I'm boycotting this term choppionship. No one from Fantasy Life checked in with me on this name before we rolled this on. The championship? I don't know about that, guys. I don't know. I get what we're going for. I certainly get it. I see the vision. I just don't know about the execution. See what I did there? Guillotine League, chop. But yeah, these are fun leagues. There's a 500-person tournament, 100-person, 25 there at various price points. Okay, let's see here. So it's 11:05. We do have we have ADP chasing today with Karain Davis and Mike Shope. That's going to be at the normal time. They'll be talking about everything through the lens of best ball. I'm sure checking in on some best ball sweats as well. But yeah, we got time for I say we do a little Monday Night Football. And then I'm going to morph into the Cash Game King. I think that's what we need to do here. Build a couple pick'ems for Monday Night Football. Do I have any more coffee? Ugh. I really wish I would have made a new pot for this show, because now you guys are going to get one of those sad pours. It's so sad that I have to take off the lid to make sure I'm getting the rest. Oh yeah, this is bad. I'm sorry, guys. Bottom of the barrel. bottom of the barrel. All right. What did I say we're gonna do? Yeah, let's see what the Fantasy Life Pick'em tool likes. Curious if you guys have any angles you want. You're not allowed to suggest pick'ems if you're just trying to hedge your best ball sweats tonight. I need the actual goods. I need the actual goods. I am in a fucking pick'em drought too, man. Partly because I only do 40 Xers these days. That definitely is contributing to things. But I am in quite the doubt. I do have a streak going, though. I do have a streak. All right. Okay, this is what I like to see right off the rip. Ricky Pearsall, who I famously have on my dead Chow Chow team. Underdog likes the higher there. If Ricky Pearsall could just do what Jalen McMillions did, that's probably worth a couple $1,000s for me. But this isn't about me. This is about us. Isaac Guerrero, lower rushing receiving yards. And then does like the Gibbs lower receiving yards. Tim Patrick lower receiving yards, who I also famously have on my Chow Chow team. But this isn't about me. This is about us. Juwan Jennings likes the higher receiving yards. What? This has to be a bug. We like higher touchdown on Patrick Taylor? I don't know about that. Jacob Cowing, we like scoring a touchdown? Oh, no. I don't know about that. There you go, Davis. Sione Vaki, higher rushing receiving TD. I kind of like it, man. If they bench Gibbs, if they end up benching Gibbs, what does Sione Vaki touchdown pay tonight? Should we make a Davis Maddock Memorial? 12.61. We absolutely have to play Sione Vaki touchdown. That's incredible. Are we rolling showdown head-to-heads tonight? Absolutely not. I play one slate. When I become the cash game team, I play one slate. Week 18 main slate. That's the slate you sack up for. You can send me a head-to-head for the main slate on DraftKings. You can send me a head-to-head. Well, there's only one place to send me a head-to-head. You can catch me in the double doink lineup on Underdog. I can't be playing showdown head-to-heads. I play the Gods game, which is week 18 main slate cash games. What should we pair Sione Vaki with? What should we pair him? Debo sliders? I love this Sione Vaki touchdown thing. I'm really coming around on it the more I stare at it. Debo? What kind of Debo slider? Just receiving? I'm not saying we're going to do 100 yards. Look at that. 100x for a Sione Vaki touchdown in Debo Samuel. What if we take him down? Okay, we're still at 100x. We can keep going lower. All right, so 79.5 receiving yards. I like this. This is the Davis Memorial. This is the Davis Memorial pick'em. Davis is going to be so mad if we profit on his guys. Sione Vaki scores a touchdown and Debo Samuel has 79.5 yards. Let's do it. Let's do it. How much does 15 pays? 1,300. I want 2K on the Davis Memorial pick. There we go. $25. $25 on Sione Vaki and Debo Samuel. That's a fun way to light money on fire. There are worse ways to light money on fire. I'll drop it in the chat. Dude, I'm tailing. See, I got to get these out of my system. I got to get these absolute Hail Marys out of my system. This is the kind of brain rot that can plague fantasy players because they're always swinging for the fences. They always want the big score. Got to make $2,000 on a pick'em. All right, let's build some pick'ems. Let's build some other ones. How do we think this game is going tonight? I do think it is kind of interesting to build some Lions don't go pedal to the metal stuff, because that's what the market is pricing it in as. Like, the first one that stood out to me was Gibbs 18.5 rushing attempts. That seems like a lot of rushing attempts for Jahmyr Gibbs tonight. He had 23 at Chicago. I certainly get it without David Montgomery, but man, is he going to be getting carries late into this game? 18.5 seems very rich to me. The other, Amon-Ra, 14.55 fantasy points. I do think the way, if you want to play the lower angle, it's probably like on efficiency stuff, right? Like Jared Goff lower than 33.5 pass attempts. Rondo likes Guerrero. Yeah, Guerrero's probably a strong play. What would be the full-blown correlation of the Lions not playing this whole game? Because I don't really want to do the yard stuff because they're so efficient. They're so explosive. They can definitely get there. Is it Amon-Ra lower than 6.5 receptions? Just play this efficiency angle. Gibbs lower 18.5 rushing attempts. Goff lower 33.5 passing attempts. Amon-Ra lower 6.5 receptions. Yosh is my resident Lions expert. He says he likes it because the Lions can tell themselves they're still going all out while feeding Jefferson, Reynolds, and Vaki. Yeah, is there a way to capitalize on who else is in here as far as the Lions backups that we could maybe play hires on? Craig Reynolds. See, they're not giving us yards on Reynolds. That would be nice if we could bet like attempts for Reynolds or Vaki. What do we like on the line or the San Francisco stuff? Do we think Guerrero rushes it more than 15.5 times? He was at 15 versus Chicago, 16 versus the Rams. Allen Robinson, TD, that's some sick shit. All right, I got to make a change. I guess ADP chasing is going to be going live at 1 Eastern. Okay, so we're not going to be rolling up to their normal thing. Let me change this for them. Sorry about this mid-pick 'em, but got to do some administrative stuff. Okay. All right. Here's the thing, Sean. We are going against market sentiment. Sean says, is Dan Campbell a foot off the gas coach, though? I don't think he is. And that's why these lines are as high as they are. So we are betting against that. But the thing is like, the reason I kind of like it is this is being priced as if the Lions do go balls to the wall. These lines are efficient even in a normal game. Even if they did have something to play for, I think these are similar to what the lines would be. So not only are we getting the typical kind of coin flip on an efficient line, but we actually have a correlated narrative on why these could all fail in tandem together. So I do kind of like playing that angle. You can't do multiple for a single player, unfortunately. Do we have anything in the rivals for tonight's game? Because this could be the other interesting angle, I think. Like playing. So yeah, man, this might even be better than playing like the receptions. Like playing Brock Purdy versus Amon-Ra fantasy points. Like George Kittle versus Amon-Ra receiving yards is interesting. I kind of like some of these rivals. Laporta versus Debo receiving yards. Kittle versus Laporta receiving yards, although he's given up a 25-point spot. This one I really like. Let's do this. Kittle over Jameson Williams fantasy points. I mean, he can always get there. Like, I think this is the perfect one because I think the median projection is so much more in his favor. I actually want to check out what my dude Mike Leone has projected for these two fantasy point wise. Let's check this out. Kittle, he has projected for 11.6 half, and Jameson Williams 10.3. So it is that same thing. It's like a 1.4 spread. So if this were perfectly efficient, like this adjustment breaks in Jameson's favor. But I think the way these guys score points, and if we are playing this correlated angle, I like the George Kittle side here. This only gets us up to a 7.51 though. What does one more like random one get us to, just out of curiosity? I'm putting in an NBA one to see. 15.03. We're probably going to need some kind of, yeah, the 7.5 is not making it move for me here. Maybe we just play like a Kittle. What if we run a couple Niners sliders on this? I do think it's a really good spot for Kittle and Purdy. Like if we slide Kittle up here, then we're more in like the 13 range. Yeah, Goff and ARSB lower. And we're getting a dock on the Goff one there. If we take out Amon-Ra, we're probably not losing much. Yeah, we aren't losing much there. Let me go back to that higher lower, though. I do really like the Kittle versus Jameson. Let's do this, and then who's scoring a touchdown on the Niners? Could also just play like something through a Purdy slide. I think Purdy is going to throw for a decent chunk of yards tonight. I'm not going. Sione Vaki, we're isolating to the Davis Maddock Memorial Pick'em. See if you do a little Purdy slide. Like up. Can Purdy throw for 300 here? I don't mind this. So we play Gibbs and Goff lower in their efficiency. Brock Purdy throws for 290 and Kittle outpaces him. But in this case, don't we just want to probably slide Kittle a little bit? Play Kittle to like 90. This gets us to a 19x. I think this is what I'm settling on. I do really like Purdy to Kittle tonight. Purdy throws for 300. Kittle gets to 90. Gibbs and Goff don't play a ton in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, hard to get the multiples. Beesperf likes Jennings first TD. It is interesting, like Jawan Jennings' target share really took a dive last week with Debo coming on. What is first TD for him? First TD at 6.15. What are the... Let's look at what these first TD score prices are. Purdy, 11.27. Amon-Ra, 3.96. Gibbs, 2.07. Debo, 5.11. Kittle at 5.33 looks nice. Jennings at 6.15. Garendo at 3.56. There's my guy Tim Patrick at 9.63. Let's see. Should we run we could run these a couple different ways. Could run a couple Niners opposite. The one that still stands out to me the most is this Gibbs 18.5 rushing attempts. That just seems like a lot to give who is going to be your lead back in the playoffs. Let's run a few Niners first TDs for the culture. There's a Kittle first TD. Someone wanted Jennings first TD. B-Spurf, let's give it to you. There you go. Let's do one more. One more for first TD. Debo, just play the 3 pass catchers. All right. I need to stop making pick'ems. All right. I think it's enough of this tournament shit. These big time payouts. I think it's time to pull up the slate. I think it's time to look at a shell. Normally, look, this is the deal. This shell, I generally play pretty close to the vest, but I'm feeling so confident this year that we can take a look. We can take a look right now at what we have. Do they not even have any games up? Do they not even have contests up yet? Wow. They don't even have the salaries out yet. Unbelievable. Does Underdog have do we have a slate up yet? So we can at least look at some of these players. Here it is. Here it is. We're going to have to build our shell on Underdog. We don't even know the salaries yet, but we can take a glance at this. Josh Allen at New England. He might not even play, right? Mike Shope's telling me we might get Mitch Trubisky. And Josh Allen's the 101 right now. Bijan versus Carolina. Bijan might come preloaded in cash game lineups. It might be a prove it week. You show up with Bijan. You prove to me that you can show up with Bijan against Carolina. Prove it. Too much volatility with Joe Mixon. You guys think Barkley's playing? You think they're going to try to get him 105 yards or whatever to break Eric Dickerson's record? Bijan Robinson's coming preloaded. Bijan Robinson isn't even a want play. He's not a need play. Bijan Robinson is a must play. A must play in cash. Mike Evans heading for the... I cannot tell you guys how big of your cash game process week 18 incentives need to be. If these guys have a record on the line, you gotta play them. Mike Evans is only 85 yards away. The only thing that hurts is I wish Mike Evans was like 125 yards away, because all I'm able to do when I lock Mike Evans into my shell is bank on 4 to 5 catches for 85 yards. I wish he needed 160 yards to get to 1K, because it'd be really nice to bank on 160 yards in my lineup. Bucky Irving is a want play for sure. But does Bucky have the floor that I need when I roll out my cash game lineup? He might be too expensive too. Does he have the floor? We know he's got the ceiling. Does Bucky have the floor that we need to have confidence to put him into our cash game lineup? I'm not sure about that yet. Devon Achane versus the Jets, cannot play him. You cannot trust what Mike McDaniel is doing with this offense right now. You will not find Devon Achane near my shell. Josh Jacobs versus Chicago. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm not doing anything, but I'm listening. Jonathan Taylor versus Jacksonville. This dude is absolutely on fire. I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting him in my shell, but I'm listening. Week 18 is all about keeping your head on a swivel. All about keeping your head on a swivel. I'm going to have to re-up my subscription to The Athletic to comb through every single report. I'm going to live in the Coach Speak Index Discord. I'm going to be going team by team, looking for any little morsel, any little cookie crumb that could give me an edge in my head-to-head. Because the difference between a 52.5% ROI on cash game week and 53.5% is razor thin. And if you're not grinding the Coach Speak, if you're not grinding the incentives, if you're not tinkering with your shell, you're paying the rake and you're losing to me. I'm really glad you asked this, Raymond. At what price points will you be accepting head-to-heads this week? So my normal answer is any price point. We could have an issue on our hands. We could have an issue on our hands. And it is Massachusetts deposit limits are an issue. They're state-regulated limits that I am trying to deal with right now. I'm going to figure it out. The truth is, I should have been planning for cash game week from a depositing standpoint a long time ago. And that's on me. In my head, I just thought I'd win the power sweep and then I wouldn't need to worry about. How about this? You send over whatever you want and we'll cross that bridge when it comes. We will cross that bridge when it comes. I'm going to be fine to accept most head-to-heads. It could get a little dicey toward the end of the week. It could get a little dicey depending on how much money Underdog or DraftKings lets me put on the site. Let's just say I've already been on the horn with support this morning. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's unreal. It's unreal. I think I'm going to be able to get about $3,000 on the site before I need to call in some big time favors. Does that work? Will that work? I mean, obviously, like with registering for contests and stuff, if you're in a non-legal state versus a legal state, but does the deposit thing actually, I assume the deposit thing is like more tied to your address or whatnot. Here, I'll read you. Someone asked, what's the, this is what they said. This is what they said about Massachusetts. It looks like you are hitting the jurisdictional limit in Massachusetts, which is $1,000. $1,000 jurisdictional limit in Massachusetts. This is what we talk about on Lulz. They're trying to protect the industry. Little did they know that they're handicapping the cash game king. We'll figure it out. The point is, how about this? If you are, I am going to try to accept as many of the $5, $10, and $25 head-to-heads first, so I can play as many people as possible. And then I will give you guys an update as the week progresses, if I'm able to deposit more and more. And then if you want to send me 100 or you want to send me a 500, we can do that. But let's get as many people in the mix as possible first. I should put this up on screen, my usual reminder for my username. Let me find my banner. This is my username on DraftKings. Revert Z Top. I guess you can't send me a head-to-head right now because the slate's not up. But if you're watching this after the fact and you want to send me a head-to-head, bring it. Revert Z top. You worry about your shell. I'll worry about getting money on the site. This is where it would really help to know a former DK pro. A former DK pro who could throw some weight around behind the scenes. Is this true? I'm pretty sure that the mass deposit is location-based, not residence-based. We'll go on a field trip. I do not live far from the Rhode Island border. I will go test this out, and we will find out. This is a good shout out. The Cash Game King heads to Rhode Island. The gang heads to Rhode Island. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. The gang goes to Rhode Island to deposit to accept $50 head-to-heads. Cash Game King, but Jake Paul vibes only. Head-to-head with anyone at least 60 years old. Bring it, Steves. Bring it. Let's see. You know what we can do? You know what we can do? Hang on. Wait, where's the NFL? Do we not have cash up for NFL? Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Come dance with me. Who wants to square off in an underdog $3? No. You got to pay up if you want to get an on-stream one. All right, here we go. 2-person underdog $25 draft. I'm sitting. I'm running the lobby. Who wants to battle right now? Who wants to raw dog a first look head-to-head $25 contest on Underdog? I'm waiting. Who wants to enter the ring? Come. I'm waiting. I'll sit here all day. I'll control the lobby. You all scared? This sure has taken a long time to fill. A long time. No one wants to come dance. $25, mano y mano. Here we go. Who filled? Who am I battling against? Who am I battling against? Goods. Goods, are you in the chat? Where are you, Goods? Ooh, Goods. Let's do this. What did I tell you, Goods? Bijan Robinson isn't a want play. He's not a need. He's a must. I'll be starting this with Bijan Robinson. All right, man, I'm gonna have to get my mind right real quick here. Real quick. Wow. There are some interesting decisions here. All right. Ball is in your court. Ball is in your court, Goods. I take Bijan 101. Let's see it, brother. What are we doing? What are we doing? Take Josh Allen. I dare you. Draft this off ADP. Push the plane, Goods. That's right. A little influencer 101 to start cash game week. Wow. Goes Mike Evans. Goes Mike Evans. Take Barkley while you're record hunting, buddy. Do it. Do it. JT. This is where I think Goods made a fatal flaw here. I think you have to corner the market on the elite onesie. I think we get a Brock Bowers here. We're definitely taking Brock Bowers. We're building in floor. We're building in ceiling. Guess what? Trey McBride isn't scoring another touchdown. They gave him the Make-A-Wish touchdown. They gave Trey McBride his Make-A-Wish touchdown. He's back to 6 receptions for 40 yards. Give me Brock Bowers. The question is, at quarterback here, I believe, man, the Baker versus Jaden is really tough. Baker versus Jaden. Yeah, I'm going to leave him the Baker stack. Let's grab Puka Nacua. I mean, this wide receiver slate is actually pretty gross. I think Puka, how is Cortland Sutton an ADP of 13.5? This is so broken. Cortland Sutton has an ADP of 13.5. I mean, I know this contest just got dropped, but what in God's name? All right, we started Bijan Robinson, Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers. Let's see what Goods is cooking up here. Trey McBride. Dude, that's a no-no. I'm not taking another tight end. I'm not taking Trey McBride. You save your tight end until the last pick. Goods is getting outplayed. You come at the cash game king, you best not miss. You best not miss, brother. I think we do go Baker here, though. What's the motivation for the only other thing I'm considering is the Jaden Daniels versus Baker. Is it Commanders might not have nothing to play for? I think we got to take Baker with one of these. He's already gone Bucky and Evans. We get the Baker hedge there. We need another running back. We're playing, man. The Barkley stuff. Do we think there's actually risk with Barkley sitting? I don't think I can take on that risk right now. What do we think about Josh Jacobs? I think Josh Jacobs. Do the Packers have something to play for? Josh Jacobs has been so consistent. All right, we need to find another wide receiver. Kyler Murray. Wow. Goods is treating this like a head-to-head cash game. I think it might be Brian Thomas, honestly. I mean, the consistency of this guy. Look at these targets, 10, 12, 14, 13, 10. It might be Brian Thomas. I think it's BT. All right, there it is. Someone else want to do one more of these? I'll do one more. Someone wants to come play. I got to get tuned up. Come draft. Dude, I feel fired up right now. I feel absolutely fired up. Goods came in, man. I don't know about this. Goods, can you talk to me in the chat? Can you talk to me about this? You built a tournament team. Bucky, Evans, Kyler, and McBride? Are you so worried about the floor, just the insane floor of my team, that you tried to build a tournament lineup to take me down? Is that what just happened, Goods? Can we get a post-game interview with Goods? That's what I like to hear. Look, I'm not gonna shame my opponents. I want my opponents vibing against me. I have to be fucking locked in. I have to be locked in. I want you guys are welcome to vibe. But this isn't just some fuck around thing for me. All right, another Bijan share. Come on down. Another Bijan share. These ADPs are funny. All right. Bijan the 101. It's not even close. Kiwi Quat. I don't know why I said Quat. Kiwi Cat. Are you in the chat, Kiwi? Mike Evans, Bucky Irving. Wow. Wow. I'm just going to keep doing this. If the field is going to keep passing on Brock Bowers, I'm going to get my elite onesies. I'm going to just build the same team I just did. I'm just going to build the same team I just did. I just play the best plays. I'm not trying to diversify. Is this you run good, Rick? Oh, yeah, there's your Kiwi Cat. I see you. I see you. All right, goes Nabers. Man. Nabers is a cash game play. Get ready to learn real Drew Lock, buddy. Man, what other wide receivers? It's probably Ladd, right? It's probably Ladd. But so Kiwi's done at what? Wow, going 3 wide receivers in cash. I said I wasn't going to shame him. I said I wasn't going to shame him. All right. Well, I can take whoever because his quarterback and tight end are done. I'm going to grab Ladd here. You guys think Puka's not going to play for anything this week? I think we did. I'm going to split. I did Josh Jacobs last time. I'm also going to do a JT. I mean, he's just been such a monster. Home matchup versus Jacksonville. I think the floor is pretty good there. I'm sorry, buddy. I said I wasn't going to shame. 3 wide receiver build. Yikes. Yikes. All right, we need one more wide receiver. I need to raise my floor. Man, is it even possible to trust the Texans right now? I mean, Nico's going to see 10 targets in this spot. Drake London is a false flag. I think Nico's in the conversation. Honestly, JSN might be in the conversation. Yeah, the Broncos are in play, but man, the floor is really low for Sutton. I think I'm going to play Nico. Nico's going to get 10 targets here. All right, here's my first 2 cash games. Baker, Bijan, Jacobs, Puka, Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers. And let's see what my opponent... Here's Kiwi. Wow. Bo Nix versus KC. I should just live in this lobby all day. If this is what my opponents are doing, I should just live in this lobby all day. Why would Nico play? What are you talking about? Why wouldn't Nico play? Buddy, we're worried about the good teams resting their starters, not the bad teams. The bad teams are who shine in week 18. Wow. It's going to be a wild week, folks. It's going to be a wild week.
Look at this draft board here. This is a masterclass. This is a cat toying with a mouse. Wait, if he's the Kiwi cat, what does that make me? Who toys with the cat? If the cat toys with the mouse, who toys with the cat? I guess I'm the old cat lady toying with the cat. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. All right, guys. I got a lot to do this week, and part of it includes driving to Rhode Island, apparently. Once the slate is up, you may begin sending me head-to-heads on DraftKings. We'll have some fun stuff this week, some fun shows. I do not know the state of the schedule for some stuff late in the week. I might be going to the Patriots game after I solidify my shell on Sunday. We shall see. So I'm not sure about what kind of After Dark or cram programming we're going to have. But rest assured, I will be here all week accepting your head-to-heads. The Cash Game King. I see so many lost souls trying to play tournaments, trying to strike it big, trying to get a ticket out of this town when you could just be in the head-to-head streets grinding out a 51.5% ROI, playing God's game. That's what I'll be doing this week. I don't know about you, but I'll be playing God's game. We'll see you next time on the Portfolio Review.